So you want to hear about South Africa and Singapore? Let's go. I lost all my bottles on the course. I was completely destroyed when waking up. I barely slept. It took me until 1 in the night before the doping control left me. Yeah, it was a pretty hectic week, I would say. I arrived, we had a good plan. Me and my coach, Glenn, he was there with me. And first day we went riding. I lost all my bottles on the course because the course is so rough and bumpy. So we already had to start and adapt, but that wasn't the first time that week that we had to adapt, because then 1 day later, went out to a restaurant, but actually a really nice restaurant. So I'm not really sure if that's the source, but that night, which was Wednesday night before the race, I got really bad food poisoning. And yeah, basically the evening after that dinner, so Wednesday, I just went to bed, felt a little bit sick, but I thought I was gonna sleep it off. And then 2 hours later at 1 in the night, I woke up and I had to violently vomit. But unfortunately, that was not the only thing that was happening to my body. So yeah, I had to make difficult decisions while sitting on the toilet. And obviously, yeah, the day after, I was completely destroyed when waking up. I barely slept and I had nothing in me anymore. I couldn't keep any food or drinks in, but I knew that I had to. So I tried to eat and drink a lot of electrolytes. And basically by the evening, I was already starting to feel a bit better. Friday to Saturday, I had a really good sleep and started to feel quite okay again. Did some prep sessions on that Saturday. I actually went with the Global Triathlon Network, did a run, made James Kunama suffer. Yeah, felt quite okay. Prepared everything for my race, set everything up. Had a swim with some dolphins, so I don't know, like my whole mood, everything kind of changed around. I came into the race on Sunday like hopeful, because I kind of felt 100% again. But I guess that with this, you are not 100%. We got called on the line and saw the guys around me, and I was in race mode. I was ready to go for it. The race day started perfect for me. There was a couple of really fast swimmers. Jamie Riddle, who I know well from short course, Jonas Schomburg, and Andrew Horsfall-Turner, and pretty much after 200 meters into the swim, we broke away with the 4 of us. We kind of took turns on the swim. There was not really anyone who wanted to drive the pace too much. Second lap, we had to overtake some age groupers, and I don't know what I did, but I must have chosen a better line than the others, because in the end I exited the water with about 15 seconds in front of them and ready to start the bike. Unfortunately there, I made maybe a little mistake again. I let Jonas Schomburg go because I know his reputation. He's known for his fly and die. Yeah, I was thinking like, man, this guy is going so fast out of transition. I don't think he knows he's doing an Ironman and not a sprint triathlon. So I let him go, decided to stay with Andrew Horsfall-Turner. I took my first pull after 10 minutes and I dropped Andrew straight away, so then I ended up by myself as well. We rode like that, me and Jonas, with 1 minute in between us for the next 80 kilometers. And then Magnus Ditlev joined up with me. He came from like 3 minutes behind, I think he was in the chase pack. So already he rode very strong. And he passed me on one downhill, and yeah, he went very, very strong. And I tried to follow, but I basically had to use such a big bullet that I think I kind of cooked myself for the rest of my ride. I had to go 5 minutes really over my limit. That was probably not very smart of me, but then in the end, that is where I bridged up to Jonas as well. But then at that point, both me and Jonas were completely fried, and the last lap, yeah, we both didn't really have much power anymore, and Magnus basically took 6 minutes in the last 60 kilometers of the bike course, which is honestly insane. He was just riding like a madman. Coming off the bike, 6 minutes, I kind of knew that it was over for the first place. And I knew it was gonna be me and Jonas for second place, because the fourth guy was about 15 minutes down after the bike. Started running, felt really good. Dropped Jonas fairly early on, and then closed a little bit on Magnus, but definitely not enough to start believing in a win. I tried to dial back a little bit on the second half of the marathon in South Africa, but in the end I was still completely dead and I didn't have basically any energy in excess when I crossed the finish line. Like, it was impossible on a day like that with so much wind to save your legs. Arrived second place, I think 4.5 minutes behind Magnus. I was actually really disappointed straight after the race, but then when I gave it one more day, I was actually more relieved as well because of the food poisoning, because everything that happened, I was kind of just relieved. I have my knee slot now, and I'll have another chance to battle with Magnus there. Monday I felt quite bad, and then on Tuesday was my travel day. And basically I was kind of a zombie when I got off the plane. I don't even really know if I still believed that I was gonna do a good race in Singapore, especially not because arriving there, everything got very hectic. I was basically busy from morning to evening, and then obviously on the first evening, 10:30, I'm on the toilet peeing, and I get a phone call, and it's doping control. At 10:30 in the evening, having just peed, it took me until 1 in the night before the doping control left me and I provided them a sample. So that was not good either. Yeah, Thursday, Friday was chaotic like that as well. And then I think I turned it around. On Friday night, I had such an amazing sleep. I slept 11 hours. Saturday, I felt good. I was hoping to have a good backup score. I didn't really believe that I could podium. So I was maybe hoping for, on a good day, a 5th, 6th place. I don't know how to explain it, but something in me even still believes I can win a race. When I'm on the start line, I always believe I can win a race. And I think that's the good thing when so many things go wrong, that I have that little button in me that I can switch. So I turn that realist that goes for the 5th, 6th place off and turn on the maybe delusional guy that thinks he can still win the race. And if you believe it, you can do it. So race day, no warm-up because it's too warm already. You basically get cooked by standing on the start line. Swim was good. I could immediately just settle in the feet of Vincent Louise and Max Tapley. Swam quite comfortable. We were away with 5 guys, I think, in the transition, but we didn't have a very big gap on the main pack where all the big hitters were. We had like 40 seconds or 30 seconds out of transition. So basically we were one massive pack on the bike, and that got very messy because you think Singapore is flat, but the course definitely isn't. So we're doing a bridge, but it's a massive bridge, and basically the course is the whole time up and down. And it was very difficult the first laps with the race ranger, because you come from going downhill 60 kilometers an hour, 65 kilometers an hour into an uphill going maybe 20 kilometers an hour. So it's really difficult to stay out of that 20 meters draft zone, especially when you're with a group that is basically like a harmonica. But actually that settled really quickly. Like after 1-2 laps, some of the first people started dropping the pace already, and then some people went off the front. So it got less messy, and basically I just stayed somewhere quite safe. I didn't really push myself on the bike, but I stayed somewhere that I knew I could do, but nothing extraordinary. So I think I was probably, together with Leo Berger and Gregory Barnaby, in around 6th to 8th position the whole time. Yeah, we got off the bike. Rico Bogan, Hayden Wild had a very decent gap, I think 3 minutes back to us, and a couple of other guys were in between. I started the run, first lap, didn't really feel amazing, and I think then my Ironman legs kicked in, and the second lap I started feeling really good and started picking off those guys. Like, I think first one was Mika Noot, who was really suffering. I passed him. Then a little bit later, Rico Bogan was really suffering. I passed him. Mathis Margrier really suffering, passed him. And all of a sudden I just found myself in the third place. Somehow I could keep it until the finish line. The last 2-3 kilometers I really started to suffer, could keep my third position. And yeah, I have to say that with the whole experience, I'm really over the moon with that result, but also with the combination with South Africa, having a second place in South Africa, third place in Singapore. I mean, to be honest, that's probably a result I would have signed for before. It's very hard for me to be satisfied with my race results, but I think that this one I can be very proud of. I wouldn't recommend doing an Ironman first and then a T100 race the week after, but I have to say that it was probably not as bad as expected, the race itself. But what wasn't really fun was the week leading up. I think that these 2 weeks I set myself up for a really good season 2025. I have my Nice ticket. I have a first really good score on the board for T100, so stoked with that. But yeah, the season is only just getting started. So now flying back to Belgium, and we're gonna do some aero testing with Santini, which is gonna be very interesting. Hopefully gain some free speed there. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. And then in 2 weeks, I'm gonna go to altitude camp in Sierra Nevada, again, searching for the marginal gains to hopefully improve my performance towards T100 San Francisco and Vancouver. They are the next big goals, beginning of June. So yeah, we're gonna put all the little things together and hopefully crush it there.